Hi, this is Katie with the astrology for the week of 1st of July. Now, we are beginning the week with a Mercury Pluto opposition, which will be predominating throughout Monday to Friday. Mercury is entering Leo on Tuesday, so that's a change of sign for the planet of communication. And the moon is waning towards the new moon in Cancer on Friday. And the other big news this week is Saturn is now in retrograde. So the Mercury-Pluto conjunction. Now, Mercury is currently in the last degrees of Cancer. And this is a time of sensitive communications and reflecting on inner feelings. So you may have been doing more of that lately. Now, with Pluto opposing Mercury, this can bring blocks to communication into view. So these may be inner obstacles, inner blocks, when you reflect on your feelings, you reflect on the past, and you feel the things that you still haven't been able to deal with or heal. It can also be other people in your life maybe communicating in a way that's obstructive, or simply something blocking your authentic self-expression. So this is all about taking back your power of communication. How can you empower yourself to speak your authentic truth and not feel hindered or obstructed by anyone else? And speaking up if you don't like something, if you don't like the way someone's communicated, and simply being true to yourself and being empowered to stand up for yourself. Mercury is entering Leo on Tuesday, so this is a big change in the way that the collective will be thinking, communicating, and processing thoughts and ideas. We're moving from the water sign of Cancer, which is very touchy-feely, into Leo, which is a flamboyant fire sign. So communications are going to be much more outgoing, more, flamboyant. People are going to be expressing their inner truth in a way that's very fiery and, all about their personal style and creative flair. And with that opposition to Pluto, things may be a bit heated. People may just express themselves without considering other people's feelings so much. So that's going to be interesting. So it's important to just center yourself and be in your truth. Now, the moon is waning towards the new moon in Cancer on Friday. So on a waning moon, it's all about releasing and letting go. So this is what we're doing this week, and particularly with the Mercury-Pluto opposition, we're thinking about what we can let go of in our thoughts. So these may be outdated belief structures, outdated ideas that no longer serve, outdated communications. What communications aren't working in your life? Are there some relationships where you're simply hitting an impasse and nothing you can do can overcome that? Maybe there are things that you need to let go of at this time. And the new moon in Cancer is a new beginning in the lunar cycle. So this is a very sensitive moon. It's a moon of sensitive reflection. This is the moon's own sign. And the sign of Cancer is very much connected to lucid dreams, clear messages and guidance from spirit, and sensitivity, emotional sensitivity and empathy. So it's a very good time to meditate, especially on the exact new moon if you can, which is Friday night, just before midnight on Friday night. That's in the UK, London time. And so pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to messages and signs that you may receive around this time. It's a very sensitive, psychic new moon. And there's no real harsh aspects to the new moon, which is nice. There's a trine to Saturn, which has just gone into retrograde. So the trine to Saturn is easing us into those Saturnian energies and showing us how best to work with them in a way that's not too tough and challenging. And the other aspect predominating the new moon is the Mercury Pluto opposition. So it's all about reflecting on communication and reflecting on your thoughts and ideas, and maybe you could let in some new inspiration, some new guidance, and let go of the old. It's like releasing mental clutter in a way. So with Saturn retrograde, Saturn, the planet of karma, known as the Lord of Karma, it's the planet of time, the planet of physical boundaries, the boundaries of the material world, the planet of structure, discipline, authority, hard work. It's also the planet of organization, so it's all about organizing things into larger bodies. This planet has gone into retrograde. So what does this mean? And a lot of people worry when Saturn goes retrograde because they know that Saturn is the taskmaster. It can be a very unforgiving energy if you don't get things right. So it's going to be in retrograde until the 15th of November. And this is between 12 and 20 degrees of Pisces. So it's a good idea to look at your chart and see which house that falls in for you. And that'll give you an idea of the area of life that you're working with. So with Saturn, we look at the structures in our lives, and with Saturn in retrograde, you want to ask yourself, are my structures sound? Is my material reality sound? Are my finances sound? Is everything structured in a way that's laid on a strong foundation? This is not a time to take risks or look for shortcuts, because that will not end well. That will just backfire when Saturn is in retrograde. It's actually a very good time for going back over things, going back over the nuts and bolts of your life, checking everything, making things stronger, making sure you're good to go for the next phase of your life, next stage of your journey. So it's not anything to be afraid of. It's about reflecting, seeing where you can be stronger. With Saturn in Pisces, as Saturn moves through Pisces, it's bringing structure to the infinite ocean, which is Pisces. So this is quite a difficult thing to do. And Pisces is the sign of oneness. It contains the essence of all 12 signs. So it's very difficult to bring structure to all of the areas that Pisces represents. It's kind of limitless. Pisces rules healing, meditation, spiritual teachings, a life of devotion, everything creative. It rules film, also the caring professions, caring and compassionate professions, and areas of life where we flow like water. So it's an interesting one. It's about bringing balance to these areas of your life. If you work in any of those fields, as many of you do, or probably most of you do, if you have strong Pisces in your chart, it's a good idea to look at where you can strengthen your boundaries, because Pisces can be lacking in boundaries. That's one of the challenges of Pisces. So Saturn is here bringing good, strong boundaries to the Piscean areas of our lives. So if you're a healer, that might mean putting in new rules and guidelines, or drawing the line with certain clients if they try to take advantage, because that's something you get a lot of in this profession. So it's about keeping your boundaries, being giving and compassionate, but at the same time not allowing people to take advantage of you, which is very important. And it's also about learning to spot those people. Pisces is very psychic, very empathic. So you want to care for others and help them, but sometimes people could be a danger to yourself, and it's about spotting them quickly. So this is one of the things that Saturn in Pisces is bringing out. And with Saturn retrograde, we're going to be going back over, are my boundaries strong? What have I learned from this period? Have I learned to become stronger in what I do, while at the same time finding the balance between giving and being compassionate and doing my service work, and also taking care of myself. So some great lessons in there with Saturn retrograde in Pisces. So this is quite a week of sensitive reflection, contemplation, although with Mercury going into Leo, we will feel a change. It's much more of a fun-loving, outgoing, expressive sign. So people will be wanting to express their individuality more. You might want to go out and socialize. You might want to do something creative, or just go out and do something fun, do something for yourself. So that's a different energy coming in there. And with the new moon, that's more of an introspective time. So it's about finding the balance between that creative self-expression and having that time of introspection. The new moon is a wonderful time for gathering with others of like minds. So you might want to join a circle, you might want to start your own circle, a meditation circle, a sharing circle, because it can be very supportive for people in your area. You know, sometimes on the new moon, people tend to feel a bit low emotionally because it's a natural low energy point. It's a very powerful time, but it's a time of deep introspection. So it can be nice to gather in a supportive circle. And as it's the Cancer new moon, it's very emotional. So you might feel the need to share what's going on for you in a supportive, non-judgmental sharing circle. And there are many red tents, there are many sister circles, there are many of these circles now, which is amazing. They've just sprung up over the last few years, so there's probably one near you. If you feel the need to share, because the emotions can be quite overwhelming on the Cancer new moon. So the Mercury Pluto is bringing a deeper sense of contemplation to things this week, and it can bring out things from the deep psyche that perhaps you weren't aware of, or just deeper levels of healing of past relationships and current relationships. It's a very good time to clear out the shadow, because it's the shadow, sometimes it's a suppressed shadow that comes between people. Two people in a relationship, they have issues that they haven't dealt with, past trauma, inner turmoil, and that affects the communication between you when it's not addressed, and it can become a wedge between you. So with the Mercury Pluto opposition, this is a great time for seeing clearly, what is that coming between you and your beloved? What is that in you that you need to release and heal? What is that in them? Maybe you're seeing it more clearly now. So this can be a very blessed time for clearing out communication, because when we clear out the deep shadow, that's when we can really heal and change our frequency and move to the next level. And maybe you'll move to the next level with your partner, and maybe you will shift and change and someone new will come in. So it's all about frequency. It's all about who's on your wavelength and the level of inner work that you are prepared to do. Have a wonderful week, everyone.